welcome back to Go Get That Rose. We haven't been here in a minute, but we're back and we're feeling better, so it's all good. I am your host, Sarah. With me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
Hello.
Hello. And with us, we have a guest, Kaylin. Welcome, Kaylin.
Hi.
Oh, you're so excited.
I
have some questions.
Okay.
When did you start watching The Bachelor?
That's my question. I'm just kidding.
Wait, what was your question, Wade?
I said, who's killing your dog in the background?
Yeah.
That's my question. Is it
your
the
dog
husband?
okay?
No, my husband had to walk outside and they, act like there's an intruder. And I'm like, it's him. He lives here.
I was just kidding. Sorry.
I started watching The Bachelor during Bachelor in Paradise last year.
Okay.
Because of y'all doing this show. I was like, I want to be able to, at least listen. I thought, I'll watch a couple episodes, whatever. And then I got addicted because this is a train wreck. And it is so much fun.
That's like
so much fun.
People.
Yes. Yes. So I'm super addicted. And now Pookie and I watch it every Monday.
Great. We love. What are you thinking about this season so far?
So far, number one, I think it's a train wreck, of course. It always is. But number two, coming from The Bachelorette, where the guys are kind of pretty chill, there'll be one guy who's stirring up stuff like Yosef or Dale being himself and whatever. But the dudes are pretty chill with each other. But girls are just a different story altogether.
And they're so much younger. They're so young.
Oh my God. And they're younger and they're all like supermodel.
Yeah.
So there's very few real people, which why I was so excited, even though I did not think they needed any more new girls. Mm-hmm. One of them seems really real, which we'll get to, I assume, at some point. Yes. So I was excited about like a human instead of humanoids on this show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a season.
Speaking of being real, I have something to say about that later on.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. God.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. We have 2 episodes to catch up on. So try and follow along. It's been a long day. Okay. So last week, like Kaylin said, we had 5 new girls join the cast and just showed up. Jay was texting me when this was happening and was like, I don't like this. I hate this. I personally loved that they brought in new girls. It stirred up the pot. I don't like the girls' reaction to it, but I like the drama of it. Kaylin, how did you feel about adding 5 new girls 4 weeks in?
I thought it was unnecessary because he already had a record number of women.
Yeah.
They did it for the drama. Yeah. Because they just wanted these girls to catfight and they knew what would happen. And I mean, it happened just like they expected it to happen. So it was totally unnecessary. And they didn't even give those ladies a chance to like be around him before he had to eliminate some of them. That made it even worse because then he has to make a split-second decision of, do I continue a relationship that I've been cultivating for 3 weeks? Or do I pick someone who I just met and spent 5 minutes with and maybe there's something there? Like, it's not an even playing ground at all. And I don't like that. It was different when they brought in more guys for Tayshia because everyone was new to Tayshia at the same time. Like, in Tayshia's mind, there was no difference. But this is totally different.
Yeah. I agree.
It's extremely disrespectful to the game. That's the most important thing. Extremely disrespectful to the players and the game itself. More so the players. Well, no, the game. It was more disrespectful to the game itself, but the players as well.
Haven't you figured out that the producers don't care about the rules of the game? They care about
good TV.
Talking about as it really is like a game, and
it is a game,
and we need to enforce the rules, and we need to.
There's no rules.
It's fun to talk about.
What do you think this is? There's no rules. They do whatever they want. Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying. It was just kind of chaotic. I think it went exactly how they wanted it to go, because those girls, all like every single one of them, freaked out. Like freaked, which I was really surprised by. A lot of their reactions were just like, this is not fair. This isn't fair to us. And I'm just like, this isn't about you, but okay. Like, it was.
But that's disrespectful to the game too, that they have that attitude.
It was just a very negative, like, attitude. Like, it was kind of crazy, and it felt like, I saw a lot of other people saying that it felt like they kind of forgot that, like, this could have happened to them. Like, it's not like the girls just kind of showed up on set. Like, I think these girls were there, part of the original, and they picked 5 of them. So to stay there in quarantine for 3 extra weeks by themselves, so they were quarantining for like 5 weeks by themselves, and then just threw them in, like, that's not fair to those girls more than these girls. Like, I just feel like they forgot, like, that could have been them. Like, you know what I mean? It was just very, like, this isn't fair. This is rude of them to do this. Like, they didn't have that decision. They didn't make that decision.
Yeah, and I totally flip-flopped on a couple of people through that, like, how they reacted to that. MJ, I was totally like, I decided, oh, she's awful. Like,
yeah.
Like, she's just, yeah. And then I also decided, okay, Katie was silly coming in, but then I was like, okay, she's like one of few being like, maybe we shouldn't treat these girls like crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there were some other girls who you can tell, like, they didn't highlight them, so they obviously probably weren't talking major trash or anything, but they weren't like standing up for those girls. They were just sort of being quiet, because they weren't brought into it. But of course, because they're not being loud either way, they don't get a lot of screen time. So then you don't know how they feel. So you get this impression that it's Katie against the world, you know?
That's really how it feels, that Katie is the only, like, nice, smart person.
Yeah.
Like, all these girls are just, not all of them, but the majority of them are just mean.
I still like Abigail. She's not been really shitty.
Yeah, where's she been?
I think she's probably just been quiet.
Yeah.
And so they just don't have a lot to highlight her. Right. You know, on the show. And the same thing, there's a few more that they pop up every now and then. I'm like, who was that? I totally forgot about her, because they're not in the drama.
If you're not into drama and you're just kind of a quiet person, like, you'll just get overlooked very easily.
And if you're not getting like one-on-one time or you know, telling or spending time with, I was going to say Dale, holy cow. No, spending time with Matt, you know, and having like a really awesome, you know, time with him or something. No. So I think some of those girls were probably thinking this is out of hand, but just were not going to be like an alpha.
Rude.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that were rude, were Victoria and Anna, who we all knew Victoria was kind of the villain. I think Anna really showed her true colors these past 2 episodes. And honestly, last week's episode, I think it was a consensus for a lot of people. We were just exhausted by the end of that episode, and it wasn't just fun to watch because all the girls are just so mean and nasty to each other. And it really was Anna for me, where I was just like, I'm not enjoying watching you just being rude and nasty and negative and stuff like that. We'll get into more what she did. But so we had the 5 girls show up, and we have a picture of them. I mean, 5 girls. You have Kim, who, spoiler, was the only one to be sent home from the 5, which I was like, poor girl. Like, that's embarrassing. Oh my God. What's her name? Catalina.
Yeah.
Catalina. We're going from left to right. Catalina, who was the beauty queen pageant winner, which we'll talk about, and then Brittany, Michelle, and Ryan, who kind of was more important last episode. I mean, so Catalina comes in with her crown. This is my favorite moment. It's awful, but it was my favorite moment. And Victoria's like, I want to talk to you. And takes the crown off of her head. And it's just like, I'm Victoria, like the queen, so that's my crown. And the girl was like, oh, really? Like trying to play around. And she just took it off her head. I was like, oh, Victoria is not self-aware.
Face, man. She should have slapped Victoria.
She looked shocked. Like, she was like, what the heck? I really felt bad for these girls. Like, I really did. And they even said it throughout the episodes. Like, I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't expect it to be this hard because they were just so nasty. Like, it was crazy.
And Brittany didn't help anything by making out with him right out the gate. No. Like, I think she was looking to stir some things up. I don't think the other four were.
No, I don't think they were.
And as soon as I saw Catalina with that tiara, like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. And of course it was. But I think probably her beauty pageant training didn't allow her to react, negatively.
Yeah, she just kind of stood there and was like,
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the Anna, Brittany, Victoria drama. That's honestly the only stuff I remember from last week's episode, except for Michelle's date, which we'll touch on. Everything else doesn't really matter, honestly, because the Anna and Victoria stuff carried over into this episode. Okay, so like to sum it up, Anna says that she knows of Brittany because they're both from Chicago and has heard that she entertains men for money, which I'm like, okay, girl. The way she says it, though, was just so... I saw memes of it all over the place. And I don't understand. But she says it and she's like smiling, like, and laughing. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, so, but the problem that I had the issue with, I think everyone had the issue with, is that they were there for probably like 3 days before they went on their group date where she actually confronted Brittany. Before then, she's just telling everyone in the house that she's an escort and not going up to her. Not that we saw, but it didn't seem like she did go up to her before that. And then calls her out on the date in front of everyone. And is like, I heard that you're an did she say escort? I think she said, I heard that you entertain men. I forget what she said.
She said...
She did say escort.
She said escort because then when Brittany was like, I'm not an escort, she said, like, it sounds so weird to even hear that word coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. But yes, Anna, like, first of all, something about Anna's facial expressions have bothered me from the beginning.
Me too.
And they even get something about how she does her mouth.
I hate it.
And she's like, she's an escort.
So good.
And it just drives me insane. And then she's just become a bigger and bigger and bigger bitch as time has gone on. She is just like catty and just very, talks down to people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's awful. And like, why would you say this stuff when you know you're being filmed on national television? Why would you be caught telling other people, hey, I think this girl is an escort, which is like, it's not like saying, hey, I hear she had a boob job, or I hear,
that's a serious thing to say about someone.
You could ruin someone's life. They could not get a job because now every news outlet is like, their name is associated with the word escort.
Escort, yeah.
Yeah. So like and that's what Matt said when when he finally heard about it was, this is beyond my relationship. This is her life.
Yeah.
And this is not okay. And that's the thing. It's one thing if you're just like, the little catty stuff back and forth, but you're ruining people's lives. This is not okay. On rumors that you heard from a friend from a friend.
Yeah, and she doesn't, like, she even said, like, I don't know you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, at first she's like, I think she said, I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of, like, she didn't know who she was. But then all of a sudden, she has heard that she's an escort. Chick's a liar. She's just a liar, dude. That's all.
She knew
Right, I've never even heard of her.
She knew that, like, she didn't know her personally, but she said that people reached out to her when they found out she was going to be on the show, which other people have pointed out and been like, well, if you knew that she was going to be on the show and didn't see her there for the first 3 weeks, like, you didn't think that, oh, maybe she'll show up, or maybe, I don't know. Or did it say, like, hey, there might be other girls showing up because someone's not here? You know what I mean? Like, okay. But even what she was saying, where she was saying, like, oh, yeah, people have told me that she's a bottle service girl and she spends a lot of time with men with a lot of money. And in her mind, that's what she equated to. She just made the jump to escort right away. I'm like, maybe she's a sugar baby or maybe something else, which, like, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, she automatically jumped to, like, she's an escort because she hangs around a lot of men with a lot of money. Like, what? Like, that's a huge jump, I think.
And if you're hanging out in the club scene in a big, big city, which I know Chicago, it's not New York, it's not LA, but it's a big place.
Yeah.
If you're working in those places in service industry, you're going to associate with wealthy people.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to be very nice to them and flirtatious because that's what your tips are based on.
Yes.
Like, that's how you get people to come back, to request that they be in your area so that you get that money. So, like, this is nothing new. It doesn't mean she's selling her body.
No. And it has come out that Anna actually is a bottle service girl. So the fact that she was saying, like, oh, I have friends at a bottle service that see her do this kind of stuff is like, no, you are a bottle service girl.
That's like somebody saying,
you're being a hypocrite.
Well, I'd like to ask you about this because some people are saying that, and it's like, no, wait, it's not some people are saying.
It's you.
Yeah, unless you're naming who is saying it, then you are saying it, and you're trying to pass it off as if, well, I heard. And it's like, no.
Yeah, that's what she said. And she was like, yeah, it's a terrible thing to say about someone, but, like, are you? And I'm sorry it had to do it this way. And it was like, no, you should have went up to her, took her aside. It was everything that she was doing was very deliberate. Like, she knew what she was doing. She knew she was calling her out in front of other people, that it would spread around the house even more. And to that, we'll just jump to when she got sent home. She knew what she was doing in that moment, too. As soon as Matt pulled Brittany aside, you could tell, or even when Matt said, I'm not going to deal with the bullying in this house, she started to panic all over her face. And, yeah, she was just like, yeah, I said some stuff that was rude. And it was like, that's putting it lightly. You called a girl out and could have ruined her life.
None of these girls, like, see themselves clearly. No one does, but either they don't see themselves clearly or they have lied to themselves so much and convinced themselves that their actions are okay.
Yeah.
That they don't even understand.
Yeah.
Well, like Victoria is saying, she brings so much happiness and joy to the house, and it's like,
they're gonna miss me.
She brings joy to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, Victoria is a whole nother story because you have Victoria the whole time is just like, she's a hoe, she's a bitch, I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, just like,
what word did she make up? Slore?
Slut. Like, she instantly goes for insults and just tearing other people down. Yeah. Which, I mean, we didn't even talk about, there is at one point her and Katie sit down, because at the very beginning of last week's episode is when Sara left and she just kept talking about Sara, and Katie's like, can you stop? She's not here. Like, stop.
Right.
And she was like, I can express myself however I want to express myself, whether that's like bitching about other people, like that's my right. And I was like, oh my God.
And she wanted you to apologize for stopping her
for expressing herself.
Like, girl, you are not in the right here. And
those are the type I cannot stand those type of people that are just like, it's a free country. I can say whatever I want. It's like, you're right. You can say whatever you want, but you have to deal with, well, that's not true, but you have to deal with the criticism and other people being mad at you for it. Yeah. And she just does not, she was like, I don't understand why you were mad at me. You should apologize for me for cutting me off. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, she is. I hope, just for the sake of humanity, that this was an act for the show. I don't think it was. I'm just wishful thinking, hoping that Victoria, whoever she is in real life, was like, I'm going to go on this show and be batcrap crazy so that people remember me.
I think that's all her, which is scary. I mean, I think someone said that there was an interview that she did recently and didn't apologize for any, and was just like, I think she said like she did the like, I'm sorry if you were offended with how I acted or stuff, which was like, girl.
That only works if you were not being a bitch. Well, you know what I mean? Like if the other person really is the sensitive one and like what you're saying is fine, but they're taking it bad, that's when you're like, dude, I'm sorry that you were offended by that. I really am. That's, but like when you're being a bitch and then you're like, I'm sorry
that your feelings are hurt.
You think that I'm a bitch when I'm clearly not. And it's like, you clearly are.
She also thinks that she was the only one that could have been Matt's wife.
That was wild.
And she was talking crap to the producers
about all
right outside, and the girls are like listening to it, and she's like, none of these other girls can marry him, and I'm the only one, and whatever. I think whoever was like her handler needed hazard pay.
They got like a bonus for everything they got.
Yeah, I bet. They're like every
on Bachelor in Paradise, though, right?
I hope not. I don't want to see her.
I don't want to see her either. But I mean, that's the show where like it's just downright dirty. So if you're gonna have her in anything else, it's got to be that.
I think the Bachelor team people will really try to get her on there, but all the reception I have seen on everything is like, we don't want her. We don't want to see her on our screen anymore. And Anna, like, we don't want to see these awful people. Because this is not, after a while, like, could you imagine in Paradise, like, oh my God, like, it would just be awful, awful, awful. Like, it's not fun to watch. Like, she says some things that are funny, but I mean, the majority of the time, she's literally just being rude, being so nasty. So, like, last Monday's episode with her, I mean, as soon as Matt sent Anna home, she starts everyone freaks out and starts apologizing, which I thought was hilarious. They're all going up like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude or whatever. And she's like, I'm just kidding. Nothing I say is serious. I'm just joking around. And which Ryan sits down with Matt and says, like, all of that is bullshit. Like, it doesn't, that these girls are just coming up and apologizing. It doesn't mean anything because they don't mean it. And then starts talking about Victoria and how Victoria called her a hoe for being a dancer. And I think this was the beginning of the end. This was the best scene when Matt sits down with her and is like, why'd you call her a hoe? Or no,
real quick. What kind of dancer? And I'm not saying that,
I don't know.
That it matters. I'm just like, I'm wondering if it's like she's a ballerina and this girl is like, she's a dancer, so and it's like, no, she's a ballerina. Or is she an exotic dancer, which is fine?
I don't know. She might even be like,
I don't know.
She could be an exotic dancer, but she might even be like a NBA or football cheerleader, and they call them the dancers, like professional dancers. Like, I don't know. I thought the same thing. Like,
not that it matters. That but I'm just saying.
Dancer.
You know, I was just wondering what kind of dancer she was and how stupid this other girl is. Like I said, if she's a ballerina and she's like, that girl ballerina, she twirling in a tutu, she a hoe. Then you're like,
I mean, from Victoria calling her a hoe, it was probably something to do with like exotic dancing or cheerleading or something. Because I don't think Victoria, would say like, oh, you're a jazz dancer with a hoe. And like, I don't know, but that's just what I thought. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like that's why she would say that, but maybe not.
I wouldn't put it past Victoria to like not get the full story.
That's true.
I hope she's a clog dancer.
Maybe she is. Yeah, maybe she's just like a professional like tap dancer, and she's like, "What a hoe!" It's like, no, that's not. No.
Another girl was like, "Oh, I'm a professional tap dancer." And the other girl was like, oh, that's cool. So then the girl she told that to tells another girl, oh, she's a professional dancer. And that's all that Victoria
maybe
overhears someone else say she's a dancer. And it's just like, that girl's a hoe. And it's like, no, you're just stupid.
No. Well.
But also, it's legal.
Yeah.
Typically speaking, depending on what kind of establishment you're at, nobody's touching you.
Good places.
And usually if someone does attempt to touch you impolitely, there's very large men that will throw them outside. So, you know, in terms of jobs, you're pretty safe, actually. I don't think it's, you know, and like, oh my God, it's 2021. Like, it's not, I don't even know when stripping would have started. I assume back in like Adam and Eve day.
Yeah, she's like, she's a dancer. She's like a Broadway dancer.
She's a Broadway dancer?
I mean, like, she's not on Broadway, but she's on TV. She's on like TV and stuff. Like, she's like a dancer.
Oh, like in music videos or background.
Yeah, she's like a legit dancer.
She is a professional dancer.
Yeah,
she to dance.
Well, now
that's funny.
Not a dancer. She's just a professional dancer.
She's like,
no.
That's funny.
But even if she was an exotic dancer, even if she was stripping for money, it is illegal. And I promise you, the team at The Bachelor vetted all of these girls. And like, what? Victoria's just a bitch.
Nothing whatsoever against stripping, unless it's someone that I'm dating. Then I would have an issue with it. But other than that, I got no problems with it. Do what you will.
Hey, this is not.
If I had the body, I'd strip for money. I don't care.
This isn't quite the same thing, but I'll never forget in the movie Coyote Ugly, the owner of the bar being like, always appear available, but never be available.
Yes. Words to live by.
That is some great advice if you're in an industry where men might overstep boundaries.
Yes. Wow. How do we get back?
I don't know.
Well, so the beginning of the end for Victoria was when Matt said, oh, you called her a hoe. And she said, that was taken out of context. He said, well, what context would you use hoe in? And she could not give him an example. She just sat there and stared at him. And he was like, okay. And just got up and left. And she lost it. Victoria lost her damn mind. Like, she was going in and out of the bathroom, walking the hallway, having a panic attack. Like, it was crazy. I mean, we knew at that moment that she was going home, right? Like, there was no doubt. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad we're on this.
There were also a few moments where I was afraid she was going to expose some things because she was a little loosey-goosey.
Oh my gosh. Her bra strap was still showing at certain parts.
Big boobs.
I was like,
saying. And she wears really small tops.
That dress was, her boobs were popping out.
And it was like, it just wasn't fitted right. Something was wrong.
I don't think any of her dresses were fitted right.
And
I don't know what
a few times when she was like walking away really fast, I was like,
we're gonna have a nip slip. Like, this is wild.
Jay.
What?
It was Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Victoria kind of ended the night. I do want to go back to the Anna being sent home. She like starts fake crying, I guess people are saying, because there were no tears to be shown at all. Like she like sits down. Let me show you this. Let's show this picture. She went in knowing, I don't know, she was like really trying to impress him with like her hair. She looked like a Polly Pocket to me for some reason. Like that was the first thing I thought with her hair, and I was like, what is this girl doing? Yeah, she like sits down and she's like, I'm so sad and so embarrassed by what I said. And he was like, okay, you can tell when Matt's over something or not into someone. I don't know who he likes, because out of every single girl he's taken on a one-on-one, he literally acts the same. I don't know who he likes, but I can tell who he does not like.
Yeah.
It's Anna and Victoria. Yeah, then he just sent her home, which that was
great.
I was really happy. He was like, yeah, like, you need to learn to grow from this, but I can't keep you around. I need to create a safe environment for these girls, which I was like, good for you, Matt. Like, good for you. I really respected him coming in, telling these girls he's not putting up for drama, doesn't want that in his wife, cleaning house. There's a couple more girls he could have got rid of, but we'll see. We'll see soon.
I love that she kept saying, I did this one thing that was so out of character for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the only character we've seen.
Yeah, gossiping, being mean. What are you talking about? And even after that, like that whole last episode just kept showing clips of her just talking about like Brittany nonstop and all the other girls. And like they weren't the only ones. I mean, the mean girls were MJ, Serena C, who are still there, who I think we'll see next week. They'll get their comeuppance. Is that what it is? And then Victoria, Anna, and Kit was pretty nasty too. I'm really confused about Kit. I'm really confused about Kit and Matt.
You can tell she sucks by the first time you see that girl.
I don't know, because Matt last episode, Matt was like, I'm really into Kit. I love our time together. I was like, really?
What's her real name, though? I don't even know her real name.
It's Kit.
No, it's not.
It's on the show. Her real name is Kit.
I thought when she came out, she was like something.
She said, my name's Kit.
Because it means keep in touch.
Yeah, that was a oh my god.
Oh, okay. Now
her real name is Keep in Touch. It's Keep.
Well, no. I was thinking her name was like Julia, but she's just one of these.
No, her name is Kit.
Trying to be hip people, and it's like, oh, keep in touch. Just call me Kit. That's what I thought was going on.
No, her name is actually Kit.
Okay, then why are you going to be
like the American Girl doll, Kit?
Like, keep in touch. That's just to me.
That was her entrance. Her entrance.
I know. I guess I just took it seriously when I shouldn't have. But I can see the live action around telling people that, like, remember my name. My name's Kit. Remember it. Keep in touch.
Remember my name. Anyway, go ahead, Caitlin.
Have y'all seen live action Cinderella?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love it when the dude was going to call him out for being a prince or whatever, and he says, Kit, my name is Kit. And that's all I can think about with Sarah saying over and over again, Kit. Her name is Kit. Kit. I'm really confused about Kit because she kind of seems genuine sometimes. She kind of seems snobby sometimes.
I'm confused.
Probably
she's
the
young.
most.
She's young.
And she's probably the most in terms of all of these girls grew up the most with the most privilege.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like,
I mean, she talked about it.
Yeah, because her mom's like a fashion designer.
Yeah, like a pretty famous one, apparently.
So, in that regard, it's sort of hard to tell, like, because she was taught from a young age to have a persona, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know. She's not as mean and toxic as the other girls.
But I think she makes little comments where I'm just like, okay. She's another one that she just kind of sits in the background and is, like, quiet. That's why I was just really surprised. I mean, we'll talk about it. That Matt just keeps saying like how much he really likes her. Because I'm like, really? Like, I am surprised. Let's jump back to last week. I mean, the 2 group dates that we had were the stupid one where they were dressed like squirrels for some reason. We had Ben Higgins show up, which I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, why is Ben Higgins here? I like him. He was regarded as one of like the best bachelors in the past like 5 years. I like Ben a lot. Ben also, he was the Bachelor 5 years ago now. His whole thing was that felt like he was unlovable, and that's why he became the Bachelor. He was a really good Bachelor. He gave a lot of the girls a lot of time. But he told his top 2 that he loved both of them like 3 weeks before the show even ended. And which like back then the leads didn't tell the people that they were falling in love or loved them at all, so like it was a huge deal for him to tell both girls that he like was in love with them. But people liked him for some reason. I thought he was a really good Bachelor, but he hasn't been around. He kind of shows up every once in a while, and people want him to take over for Chris Harrison eventually, but I don't think he will. I don't think he wants to. But yeah, he was on the date. It's weird that they bring these people in and we don't really see much of that. Like, it's just it's really random. Like, it feels really weird.
And did they quarantine for 2 weeks to be on for that?
That's what, I don't know. That's, I think, what they're telling people, but I've heard things that they're just rapid testing, like doing the rapid testing.
That takes like 41 minutes or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. We also saw after that group date was the boxing group date, where Wells was there for like 5 seconds, which was really weird. I would have been pissed. Like, I came all this way to cut this date short and you don't even see, because apparently those girls were like whacking each other and hitting each other, and it was crazy.
Boxing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It was a date, but I heard that they cut one of the matches because MJ, who is a point of this episode, is a refused to fight, like doesn't believe in fighting and stuff like that, which is kind of funny now that we know that she's like feisty and kind of rude. Just thought that was interesting. But the one-on-one date I want to talk about was Michelle, who was one of the new girls, and everyone was pissed that she got a one-on-one date and she was brand new. And there's Michelle.
Sorry.
I'm like, what's happening? They had, it was a weird date, but it was cute. They went ziplining, they popped balloons and answered questions, and then they went in a hot air balloon. I really liked Michelle. I really liked their date. I thought, why are you nodding your head? No.
Because, no, I love Michelle. And I think this is very real. But the zip lining and the hot air balloon, no. I could not do. I could not do. Like, that was the scariest date.
Really?
That I could have, like,
I would have had so much fun.
I would have needed a Valium to get through it. But Michelle is who I'm talking about when I said, I'm so glad they brought in someone who seems real. Yeah. Like, she's a teacher. She's from the Midwest or wherever Minnesota is.
Yeah. That's
sort of.
Sure.
And she just seemed like a very nice, real woman.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, she's pretty, but she's not like fake Barbie doll body pretty, you know? Yeah. And I don't know. She just seems real. So she's one of the ones I actually like, and I am glad they brought her in. I don't know if that's who he'll end up with. I think she got screwed over a little bit because her first interaction with him was a one-on-one, and then she had to like back up into group dates, which I think is what happened with Sara too. Yeah. Where she I think you kind of get screwed over when you're first.
You don't want the first one-on-one.
Because you automatically feel this connection, and then you have to see him being shared. So in that regard,
Emily
also, the hot air balloon. Hey, Emily. The hot air balloon. Was there like another person in that hot air balloon?
It was tethered. I don't think
tethered to the ground, but they were the only ones in it. I think, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or no, there was someone in there controlling the fucking.
I think they were. People were saying in the wide shot that they were the only ones in there.
I was wondering because who was making, it hotter or less, like. Do you
think the guy like jumped out or like tucked down when they
doing it? Because didn't she make a comment at one point about like, are you getting hot doing that or something like that? I think he was doing it.
Maybe, but I was real concerned because not concerned, but I was like, this is awkward. And then I was like, who's holding the camera? But then I figured the camera was just mounted. Yeah, but I'm probably. Like, is there a third person in this itty bitty hot air balloon like bucket with them?
No, I think it was just tethered and it was just going up, and which I don't think that would be that bad.
That's what I want to see though. Now that Kaylin brings it up, like they go up in the hot air balloon and you got the bachelor and the girl, or the bachelorette and the guy, whatever it is. They go up in the hot air balloon. It's a very small area in that basket, but they have to have a guy in there with them to run it. So there is a third guy with them, and they're getting hot and heavy making out. And then like all of a sudden she just grabs him and pulls him into the mix. And that's what I want to see. Yeah. Like,
it's a whole different show.
Like they just get swept away in the moment. That would be great.
I want the behind the scenes footage of like what does this stuff look like really? Yeah. Because there's even when you had like Claire and Dale like making out on a bed, I'm like, okay, so there's several dudes in there with them holding cameras and probably a producer. I want to see that and be like, how are they comfortable doing this right now?
Could you move your arm just a little bit to the right?
Yeah, we can't see Claire's face.
Hold on, Claire. Could you please slide your arm up a little bit because we're not really wanting to focus on Dale's nipple. So if you could put your arm in this out, it'll cover his nipple.
It would not be like romantic or intimate at all.
Yeah. Like, how do you fall in love in this situation? I don't get it. There's so many people.
I don't get it either. Cameras. Like, it feels gross.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's amazing.
But we liked Michelle after all of that. Jay, what did you think about Michelle?
I don't know, but now I'm thinking about like how cool it would be for a voyeur. For someone who's into voyeurism to be a contestant on this show, because they would love all of the camera crew and people around there watching them make out.
Gosh. All right,
voyeurism.
No, though I do like Michelle a lot, and she does. Kaylin hit it right on the nose. She seems down to earth, and you can't beat being from the Midwest. Being from the Midwest myself, I love that. But yeah, she's gorgeous. She's really, really pretty.
She is. She's gorgeous. I mean, all these girls are.
Well, not all of them.
Well,
Abigail and her, and I still like Pickup Truck Girl, but I can't remember her name.
She's gone.
Kayla, she's gone. She got booted last week. Yeah. Well, I really like Michelle. I had her. After that date, I was like, okay, she's either going to win or she's top 2. But like I said, I have no idea. Because every girl he goes on a date with, he is so into them. And just keeps saying that, oh, there's something different with you. I'm so into you. I thought he told someone else that he was falling in love with them.
He told 2 girls that.
He did. Who was the other? Was it Bree? Or Serena? I know he told Serena P that he could see himself falling in love with her, right? Do I remember that?
Yeah. He and Abigail had a great talk, but I don't think it was her.
It wasn't Abigail.
Was it Kit?
No, it wasn't Kit.
No.
Kit said that she could see herself falling in love with him, but he didn't say anything back. He was like, oh, okay. Great.
But he's got too many feelings. Like
literally every single one-on-one, he's just like deeper and deeper, which I mean at this point, I guess that keeps it interesting because usually at this point you can kind of tell like which girls he's more into, which girls the Bachelor isn't. But I have no idea.
It was Rachel.
Yeah, it was Rachel, but who was the other girl?
Wasn't it Michelle?
I don't.
Yeah, it was Michelle and Rachel, wasn't it? I thought Michelle was.
Oh, so he did tell Michelle he could.
I think so. I thought so. Okay. Rachel, though, I can only see Rebecca Black looking at her still. Like, that's never going to leave my mind.
But let's talk about the Rachel date.
Well, hold on real quick, though, because you brought up Rebecca Black, and she was like, a normal, regular, average girl who made it on YouTube. She wasn't some big, pretty produced pop star or something.
She's beautiful now.
Yeah, it's great that we've got Matt on there, our first Black Bachelor. I love it. Been talking about it for years. It's been wanted, but I'm telling you guys, we can get even more diverse than that. Let's have regular, average, normal, everyday people on that show. People who are not financially well off, people who don't have, like these awesome, amazing jobs, people who aren't into like fashion and all that glitzy stuff. Dude, hashtag J Wade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve love too. Man, and
do it. Yeah.
And I guarantee you would not be disappointed. I will do, dude, I'm not going to play these games. I don't know these girls. I don't know them, and I mean, let's be real. I'm not going to fall in love with one of them after like 30 days or 40 days. So I guarantee you there would be at least one girl that I would kick off as soon as I met her.
Proud to be an American.
So hashtag
Bachelor. Jay, I don't know. I assume that this happened for everyone's broadcast. I don't know, but during mine here, at one point, one of the commercials was like, if you're a senior looking for love.
Senior Bachelor. It's coming.
Yes. They're auditioning seniors.
Man, I'm not old enough for that.
Right. But the point is, we're getting there. Like, baby.
It's going to be hot seniors. It's going to be like those like seniors that work out and they're like super fit.
Right.
Real housewives of
regular, average, normal people.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it is. I hope that somebody comes in there with like a cane because their hip is bothering them.
Just have a walker.
Though, I mean, like I've said before, imagine how great it would be and how entertaining and refreshing it would be. Like me, for example, if I were to go on there, my conversations wouldn't be about love and all that stupid crap. My conversations would be the things that matter. Are you a Star Wars fan? Do you like Lord of the Rings? What kind of music do you enjoy?
How do you know they're not having those conversations?
What's that?
They might be having those conversations. We just don't see them.
Well, but those are the only conversations I would have. That's
they start trying to tell you about their like traumatic backstory, and they're like,
do you like Ford or do you like Chevy? Come on, girl, you can't like both. You're
like, I don't need to know about your backstory. I'll need to know about your dad's death.
If you're into Mac, Star Wars, that involves the milk and the powder and all the extra stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a single dude right now. I'm going with the shells and cheese because it's got the packet with the sauce already in it.
What are you going to cook for dinner every night?
When you change the toilet paper, is the roll going this way or is it going this way? And you got to like
that is an important question. Apparently,
that is very important. I don't even use it on the toilet roll or on the little holder. I just set the roll next to me.
No, you do not.
Yes, absolutely. Why the hell am I gonna take it on and off when just sit?
You don't take it on and off. You put it on there and leave it.
But when it, I know, Sarah. But when it's
every wipe, you just take the whole roll off. I think we're losing people. We're losing. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. Okay, let's talk about Rachel's one-on-one date. Rachel got the one-on-one. I don't like Rachel. I'm sorry. I just don't like her. She rubs me the wrong way. I think she's really fake. I don't know. I don't know if that's rude.
I think she's just boring.
That too.
I just one-on-one. You said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, with all the the dresses, the dressing up.
Blurry, but
yeah, it's a little blurry, but yeah, those dresses also. I'm sorry, and that's another thing.
I like the red dress.
If I were on that show, if I were on that show, I'm real, dude, and I'm not gonna fake. Jeans. If I'm sitting there and these girls are coming out in dresses like that, I'm gonna straight up be like, I don't care for that one. I'm not going to sit there and lie and shit. I'm going to be like, I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with her. It's just, I don't like the dress. And those dresses were all hideous.
I liked all the dresses.
I like some of them. I don't remember any of them except the capey one.
I like that one.
Because when I was younger, I don't know if you ever did this, Sarah, I would draw like girls with like cute clothes.
Yeah.
And they always had either like a cape or they had like the sleeve that like went way down, like certain Lannister sleeves.
Yes.
Like I was going to be royalty.
I mean, we get this kind of date like every season for the girls. They always pick one girl to like spoil and dress up and give her all this stuff, which I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. But I thought it was really funny that Matt kept saying like, Rachel really stands out to me because she's not the first one to run up to me and she's kind of quiet and doesn't really get into the drama. And I'm like, those are good. I mean, the drama part's good, but I'm like, those are good things that she doesn't like run up to you first or try to grab your attention.
I get what he's saying. I dig that she's low key because in my mind, if I'm in that position, I'm thinking, all right, all these girls who are running up and showering me with attention, that's because they want to win. The ones that are more low key in the background, that's because, it's not because they don't want to shower me with attention, but it's that they are there for different reasons. And in my mind, those reasons are more pure. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, but that certainly doesn't make her stand out.
Yeah, that's
no. Well, kind of if you're thinking about it like that, and you're like, dude, here's 8 girls that are all up in my shit praising me right now, and you're aware of that, then you're like, oh wait, there she is in the back. She's just chilling. She's not trying to be all, look at me, which in some cases that does draw more attention.
Yeah. She just seems like a very blank canvas to me, so we'll see.
I liked when Matt was saying, like, Rachel just seems so self-sure who she is. She's so confident and all this stuff. And then he, like, told her that at the dinner portion, and she was like, no, I'm very insecure. I'm not self-assured. I was like, oh, they're on 2 different pages. Like, I just thought that was really funny. She's like, really? Because I have no confidence. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, like we said, she says that she's falling in love with him, and he says he's falling in love with her, which I thought he told someone else he was falling in love with them. So I don't know. I now have a feeling that she is going to win or be top 2, but that could change on the next one-on-one. I have no idea. Like, no idea. But he did seem pretty into her. But again, he feels that way about every single girl.
He was also really into Kit, and they cooked. So,
poor Kit. They get this. Rachel gets this like fancy date. She comes back with all these bags, and what's her name? Serena P was like, "You bitch!" Like, she walks in with all the bags and the dresses, and Kit's date card says like, "We're gonna cook" or something, and she starts crying. And I was like, "Oh, this poor." I mean, tears of happiness, but she was like, "That's so special that he remembered." I'm like, I don't.
It's production. Production.
Yeah. No, production remembered. Yeah, I don't think he remembered.
Like, when they blame him for not picking them for a one-on-one, it's like, does he not want to spend time with me? It's like
no, it's production
picks who goes on the dates.
Or they at least...
He has a say.
Yeah, but this is definitely done by committee. Like, this is not just him being like, I want to go on a date with her and we're going to go horseback riding. So you better find us a horse.
No.
Like, that's not what's happening at all.
They'll be like, who do you have who right now are you feeling the strong feelings for? Who are someone so we could kind of plug them in who we think would be good on these kind of dates. But yeah, it's not like he's writing out every note and personally picking people on the date.
Any of the notes.
He wrote every note. No, I was kidding. I just think it's so fun. Yeah, they're like, he remembered. And it's like, I don't think he did. But You believe that, sweetheart. Yeah, we can just talk about Kit's date, jump into it.
They cooked. The end.
They cooked. It was cute. I saw a lot of people say, I am a little torn on Kit because I really liked her in that date. Like, I just thought she was really, like, sweet. I understood what she was trying to say when she said, like, my life is all gold Bentleys and red carpets and stuff. I understood what she was trying to say. I don't think she was trying to come off as, like, super privileged, but all I've seen everywhere is, like, this girl's just complaining about how privileged she is. I don't think she was. I think she was just trying to say, like, I'm just looking for a normal guy. I don't want any of that. And I really did believe her. And I just, I have an issue when young contestants, like she's 21, talk about, like, falling in love, never being in love, and falling in love. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite because I got married at 22. But, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, you're still young and you're on this show. And, like, you don't have to be worried about it. Like, it's okay. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, you do you.
Yeah. I think the difference is at that age, like, I got married at 21. But I wasn't like, time's a ticking. I've got to get married right now. I've got to find somebody. I've got to spend the next month of my life doing nothing but thinking about it, trying to fit this person into a box where I could see myself with them. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, I met a guy. I like guy. I date guy. And, you know, it just sort of happened naturally. Yeah. And I think this feels more like, you are like
kind of rushing
you think that it's vital to do this right now.
Yeah.
And at 33, yeah, totally. Like, but at 21, 22, 23, yeah. I mean, like, I get that she's lived a very different life, but at 21, you should still be in college. Like, much, you know, if you went that route, you'd still be in college. Like,
yeah,
college kids are not thinking about marriage. They're trying to not fail their classes. So, I don't, she does seem very young. I think she is probably scared of not knowing if someone's genuine.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And maybe that's why she went on the show, because she knew that he wouldn't have known anything about her or where she came from.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
They kind of to tell him that she comes from gold Bentleys and red carpet.
So never mind. But yeah, I thought it was a really nice date. I like those kind of like chill, just cooking, being able to have like just normal conversations and stuff like that kind of date. I mean, we saw what Tayshia and Ivan on The Bachelorette, them having a cooking, his hometown date was like a cooking date. And I like those kind of dates. I think they're fun. I don't think Kit is going to be on much longer. I'm fairly confident with with that one. And then wrapping up, we had the group date kind of in between that, which brought us a new villain of MJ, which was kind of always
on the farm
there in the background. Like, she was like underneath the two of them. She started the like varsity squad. You can't even see her.
Where she's underneath the table, the wagon table. She hiding.
That was a weird date. It was so weird.
What a cheap ass date. Make them go clean, shovel shit, and
they spent all the money on the dresses that they had to go. There was a couple seasons ago, Nick Viall season, they went to Wisconsin, and because that's where he's from, and they had a farm date exactly like this, where they had to like shovel out like poop and stuff like that. But that date was funny because you had Corinne, who came from money and was like, I'm not shoveling poop. Like the whole time was like freaking out, and she like left and she was like, I had hypothermia, I'm not shoveling this shit. Like, it was so funny. This, like, nothing happened. Like, it wasn't, except for Matt and Piper, like, mad making out in front of everyone.
But also, I know, Jay, you don't watch, like, the very, very tail end of the episodes. But they showed a deleted scene where apparently they had them they had, like, buckets strapped to them. And they had them doing, like, a game, apparently, that they cut out of the show.
Yeah, that was...
Which looked silly, but still, I'm like, why'd they cut that out? That was the entertainment.
I think the storyline was that they really focused on MJ on this date. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was funny where she was like, I'm going to go in there and show him that I care and all this stuff. And all the other girls are just like, she's trying too hard. Like, they just kept cutting back to, like, she's trying too hard to get attention. And she's over here like, you got to pretend that you're not trying hard and that you're not doing it for attention. And everyone's like, she's just trying to get attention. Yeah. And then Matt confronts MJ, which I thought was interesting because Matt said, like, she was kind of the last one from last week's drama that I have to confront, which I'm like, why didn't you do that? Why did you wait till now? Like, if you knew that she was stirring up drama at the last rose ceremony, why did you keep her and wait until the group date to talk about it? Like, I just thought that was weird.
I'm wondering if that information was doled out to him later.
Maybe. That makes sense. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder when. I don't know. Maybe that night. Because Jasenia? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, girl. Jasenia said that she was the one that told him that she was being an antagonizer, right? I'm like, is that the... Antagonist? Yeah. Which I was like... Is that how you use that? Like, you mean she was just antagonizing people? Like, okay. And MJ also lost her damn mind and started telling everyone that she's genuine. Was she the one saying she's genuine and real? Or
she preaches harmony.
That's what it was. She preaches nothing but harmony and realness. Yeah, and as she's like screaming, and she's like, I've done nothing wrong. I preach harmony. And it's like, girl, breathe.
And one of them's like, well, it's not about what you preach. I think this might have been when her and Jasenia were in that room alone at the very end. And she's like, it's not about what you preach. It's about your actions.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Jasenia had some really good one-liners when the episode ends with them doing like a fake 2-on-1, kind of what we saw in The Bachelorette with Bennett and Noah before the rose ceremony and him going to send one of them home. Yeah, so Jasenia and MJ are waiting and Jasenia is just throwing these one-liners like, because MJ said, you don't even know me. And she's like, you're right, because there's 3 different sides of you. And I was like, okay, girl. Like, she was just coming up with some good stuff right off the brain. So, yeah. And that's how it ended. On a cliffhanger. What do we think?
Of course.
It feels to me like he cleaned house and we're starting over fresh in a whole new season. And to me, that's refreshing.
Oh, I still think we still got drama with MJ.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he did a house cleaning, and now we're kind of starting.
He could have cleaned a little better. There's a couple more.
For sure.
I immediately felt like things settled down a little bit with Anna and Victoria gone.
Yeah, it didn't feel as catty.
It feels what?
It didn't feel as catty. Like,
yeah, it felt like they were getting along a little better, or at least they weren't highlighting as much, except for the MJ stuff. And I don't know. I hope he sends her home. I hope he doesn't like drag this out. And here's the thing: at the very beginning, I thought for sure MJ was going to be super chill.
She seems like it,
and she does not have chill at all. She has no chill. And Jasenia, I feel like I feel like Jasenia, this is the only thing I know about her is that she decided to speak up about this. I don't feel like we ever see her.
No.
But one thing we did not mention that was so funny was in the first episode when they were in the squirrel costumes digging for their acorns. And it's like, I didn't find mine, but I hid Brittany's. Yeah. And I'm like, that is so mean, but that is hilarious. And poor Brittany couldn't find it, which I thought that whole date was just silly. But that was
and
so
Maggie
fun.
was
like,
just in the pumpkin. Like, oh my God, poor girl.
Yeah.
She couldn't like get turned around. She couldn't even get there.
She's from like Africa. Like, I don't think they have just like ponds, right? Like for her to, she's probably never been. I mean, she might have been in a boat,
I'd be afraid to go in water in some countries, Africa being one of them, Australia being another one, anywhere in South America being another one. I'd be frightened of going in the water. I've seen river monsters, dude. I know what's in those waters.
They just had them in these carved out pumpkin. Like that was a weird. Who's planning these dates? Like they were so weird. Some of them are good. I mean, all the group dates have not been very good. I don't think, but the one-on-one dates have gone up in value from the Bachelorette.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where Ivan had to play the floor is lava.
Right.
And Sara gets a freaking airplane ride. Like, what the heck? Like, what's happening? But yeah, do we have any last thoughts about anything? I mean, we covered a lot.
I definitely think that if MJ doesn't go home right now, she's going home pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to make Katie out to be the next villain, even though I don't think she's trying to be a villain. I think she's trying to not let people get stepped on, but I think they're going to turn on her for being a rat.
Yeah. Because Matt straight up said, like, you know, when Katie brought this information to me, I was like, oh no.
No, don't tell her who brought it to you.
Especially Victoria. Don't tell Victoria.
Yeah. So I think that's going to happen. And I think that's going to overshadow any sort of relationship that he could have built with Katie.
Yeah.
So I think Katie's going to be gone because of that. I think Rachel's going to stick around for God knows what reason. I hope they're having some sort of intimate conversations that we're not seeing, because I just don't see anything happening there. And
it's always
I think Michelle is going to make it really far as well.
I think so.
And I don't think Sara is going to pop back up.
No.
Like, I think she's gone.
I don't know. There's so much other drama. I'm like over Sara at this point. I'm like, okay, we've moved on from that. I don't need her to come back. But maybe. I'm hoping we get some more Abigail. Because we really liked her and like nothing.
And then, but we did get the conversation. She did have a nice conversation with him where she talked about potentially having deaf children. But she said that her father left shortly after they got, or she said we got our cochlear implant. So I'm wondering if her siblings or her mother, like who was she talking about with we?
She said her sister is also deaf. Her older sister is deaf.
Okay, I wasn't sure. So that sounds like if she and her sister are deaf, that's definitely something that could be genetic. But Matt does not seem like the kind that's going to be like superficial and be like, oh, I can't have a child with a disability. Like that does not seem like him at all. So, but I can see where that's a genuine worry.
Yeah, and that's probably something like that is something important to bring up. And you could tell like she was saving that for the one-on-one, but like that hasn't come yet. So I think it was probably important for her, for herself to know, like, if I'm going to keep going on this, I need to know that you're okay with that. This might be a possibility down the road. So I really like Abigail. I want to see more of her. I'm a little bit torn. I would like to see her be the Bachelorette. I would also really like to see Katie be the Bachelorette. Just because I think she's like fun. I feel like she'd give me a lot of Hannah Brown vibes though. So I don't know if I want to see another quirky Bachelorette again, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Those two. I'd be okay if it was those two. Or Michelle, because we like Michelle. But or Victoria. Let's just make Victoria the Bachelorette. That would be a shit show. Yes, oh my god.
I might have to bow out of watching that one.
Wait, that would be fun. That would be insane. She'd be cutting people left or right.
The men who would agree to go on that would have to automatically be certifiable. So
true.
That would be crazy. Yeah, maybe put her on Paradise. I don't know. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want Victoria on Paradise. So.
But I don't think she would last that long.
On Paradise, no one would want her.
No, yeah. I think she'd probably, if she is going to show up in Paradise, she'll probably be one of the original people there. And then I don't think anyone, like, either if it's girls the first week, she'll stay a week. But then as soon as it's the men have the roses, she'd be gone. Unless we meet a crazy guy. Because I can't think of any of Tayshia, Claire, Yosef. I don't know. We better not see Yosef. I'm a freak out. But no. I can't see any of those guys giving her a rose or like being into that. So I guess it depends on this batch of Bachelorette men. If any of them are into crazy. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Matt liked her.
Is Paradise the next thing that should happen?
So Bachelorette. We'll get another season of Bachelorette, and then it'll be Paradise.
So did we just miss a Paradise because of COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Bachelorette that happened was supposed to be back in May, and then we would have gotten a Paradise and had the break. But since COVID, they had to push the Bachelorette up, so we didn't get a Paradise. So we could potentially we'll have 2 seasons of Bachelor Girls on there with Pete and Matt's season. And then Tayshia, Claire, Bachelorette Boys, and this Bachelorette Boys. And then guest people from past seasons. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of people, hopefully. And that'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to Paradise. And yeah. Yeah. Any other last thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Well, J Wade, where can the people follow you?
You can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134. And you can read my bio for other stuff I got going on.
And Kaylin, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to have you. Where can the people follow you?
They can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at KaylynRose715. That's KALYNROSE 715.
Nice. And you can follow me on Twitter at SCBock, SSEABOCK. You can follow the show at Go Get That Rose on Twitter as well as the Merc with a Movie Blog at Movie Blog Merc. You can find the show on the podcast feed as well. And you can find us on YouTube where you're watching, probably on the Merc with a Movie Blog YouTube. And we didn't plug it, but there is anyone that's watching WandaVision, there is a WandaVision recap show called Oh What a Marvel, 6:30 on this YouTube channel live every Friday, recapping every episode. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot. It's kind of chaotic, so go watch it. It's a lot of fun. And we will see you next week, recapping the next episode of Matt James' season. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to find out. Bye!